Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everyone, to another TV episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's not in the show named after them with me tonight?
This is Joe Butler, and this goose is loose.
Damn it. You took what I wanted to do, fucker. Oh, I am the Let's Play Princess Phoebe Stanton, and I too love a bubblegum crisis.
That's good anime.
We are Games My Mom Found. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, it's Emanuel.
And welcome. And where do people find you at, Emanuel?
Oh, youtube.com/Commander Lionheart, twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart. Maybe I'll be back for next year. Who knows?
All right. And we are here to talk about an anime okay, I shouldn't say anime. What is this?
This is a show. This is a animated show. And let's call it an animated show because it's not a cartoon. It's not an anime. It's just an animated show.
Yeah.
It's made by... Go ahead.
Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which came out by Netflix in 2023. Not the year you're hearing this, but that's when it came out. What were we going to say, Joe?
The show is made by Studio Wit, a Japanese company that is known for making anime, and it is made by the same people on Netflix who made Devilman Crybaby, so it is in fact an anime.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. Because hey, if made in Japan, then it is an anime. So I didn't know it was made in Japan or by a Japanese studio.
And it's even dubbed in Japanese. Chris Evans voices himself in Japanese.
That's awesome.
Whatever.
God, the fact that my dad used to play that song all the time, so I'm just singing along with it during that segment, was priceless.
I had never heard that song in my life.
Really?
No. Same, I also never heard that song.
Me either.
I watched it with John, friend of the show, by the way. We binged the whole thing in one night, and when that song came up, neither of us knew what the hell that song was. We were like, what the hell is the song?
So you say that fucking there was the first time we watched this, my roommate and I, 2 days before we binge watched this, we had an argument about whether or not Nick Frost and Simon Pegg were in every single thing that Edgar Wright works on. And I'm just explaining to him, no, they're not in everything. And then we get to the bit with the two security guards, and we're screaming at each other. I'm like, God fucking damn it. And he goes, see, I told you.
Oh, that was Simon Pegg and the other guy?
And Nick Frost, yeah, the two security guards. Yeah.
That's funny. I did not catch that. Okay.
Yeah,
so I was really excited when they announced this anime. I was like, okay, I had put together this crew, like, right when it released. I was so excited. And I didn't get around to watching it. I'm like, I'm going to wait till the week before we record. And it's Monday. I'm like, all right, I should start watching this. I started watching this, and I'm enjoying the first episode. I'm on board. And then when Scott gets killed in quotations, I'm like, what?
When you could say he takes off.
He did the thing.
Then I went, I don't know. And I feel like I am too attached because Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is probably my favorite movie of all time, or at least one of them. I love this movie. And It was very hard for me to have the voices of the characters, and I get it that you want to do something different, so they change it, and I don't think I could appreciate it for what it was because I was too busy being annoyed by what it wasn't.
Okay, and the thing is, Netflix played that up. All the marketing that Netflix did practically stated that this was a shot-for-shot comic adaptation. But Brian Lee O'Malley had come out and said, no, this is something different, just stay tuned and watch it. So far, though, this is the third time that a franchise has done this, to my knowledge, and it's the third time that it's worked.
There's going to be a fourth one, but that's a spoiler for the show.
I was about to say, I'm thinking Final Fantasy VII and Neon Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other. Yeah, I was gonna ask what you meant. Okay. Yeah.
The show what I was referring to is Final Fantasy versus 13.
Oh God, no, that's been redone again.
Oh,
and
God
again.
Damn it! Can we not get into this today?
No, we're not.
We're not going to. We still have another year to deal with that. But anyways,
but yeah, talking about Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, that's the thought that I had with this show going on. That this is more like it's honestly like kind of like a supplementary to everything else that has preceded it, like the graphic novels, the movie, even the game and everything. It's like more supplementary stuff than it is. Like obviously, it is not a recreation of the movie, which I've seen like I didn't rewatch the show since I watched it with John. What I have done was watch other people's reactions to the show, and it's kind of been mixed. Or well, mostly I've seen a lot of positivity surrounding it, but there have been people who have been like Mike, where they expected it to be like a shot for shot almost, especially considering that the first episode just is basically mostly the movie. So, you know, with some variables and some changes and stuff until we get to the end of the episode. But yeah, it's more so a Final Fantasy VII situation. And, you know, if you want to take it a step closer to this year, you could say it's an Alan Wake situation where it's not a loop, it's a spiral.
See,
Spoilers.
I thought it was a really good amalgamation because there's little bits of every single previous media component in it.
Oh, and before we go any farther, we had someone just drop in into Toronto. And who was with me?
Hello, everybody. I'm Chibi UFO, otherwise known as Kyle, and we are games my mom found. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I did that joke.
Oh, damn it.
I'm okay with it
There were
twice.
two possible jokes.
Funny. I love that.
I wish I had music that I put in the show. I wish I had like a soundboard and stuff like that. Every so often, this is one of those times where I wish I would have had that like queued up just because, but I do not. All right, well, welcome, Kyle. We haven't said too much yet. I mean, I think I would have liked the show more had it been a 1-for-1 of the comic, but I get it why they went differently.
Did you like read of what Brian Lee O'Malley has said that the show was like more of an evolution of how, you know, because when he did the comics, his mind, his how do you say, you know, his mind was in one place and he thought one way. Then he grew up and then he did the movie and it was in another place. And now he did the show and it's in yet another place.
Oh, yeah.
So it's,
Worldview.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I did not. I didn't. I mean, that's why it's a me problem, in my opinion, not the show's problem, because I had a problem with the fact that it wasn't the 1-for-1 what I wanted. And that's not their fault. I mean, yes, advertising did lead me to that, but I also didn't really pay any attention to advertising. So
yeah, outside of the initial like trailer that they showed, I did not like go, you know, looking for anything. Like anytime that some new advertising for the show came up, I was like, nope, we're too close to the show actually coming out for me to watch anything. Like that's how I do with anything, honestly.
Pretty sure there's 3 trailers, and all 3 of them predominantly use footage from the first episode.
Oh, of course.
I mean, that was my issue, is that Scott is in the first episode and then he's not back to the 7th episode, I think.
Yeah.
Is when it
About
finally...
that,
Yeah, he shows up at the end of episode 6, and then episode 7 is basically just him, and then of course episode 8.
And that was my issue, is that, I mean, yes, this show is cool that it's very Ramona focused and it's Ramona talking to her exes and getting the closure for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and for her, well, mainly for them, because she's the one that left them, about what happened. I mean, and that's a cool concept. I should have liked it more, but I feel like this shouldn't have had the voice actors from the movie.
I disagree.
So, and that's fair. I mean, I didn't like it because I felt like some of them weren't very good voice actors.
That's fair.
I kind of see that as a compliment, actually.
Yeah, same.
So, because I went into it today, rewatching it, and went, this is a very late 80s, early 90s title card for an anime. And then really started to notice more and more that there's, I don't want to call it a filter, but there's something about the anime as you're watching it that just seems a little grainy. It looks like something that's older than it actually is. And so if you're saying the voice acting isn't as good, well, it wouldn't have been good in older anime.
Cowboy Bebop disagrees with you.
Okay, fair.
That is true. But also you do gotta take into consideration that they do acknowledge this when Scott mentions the 2 Sonic cartoons back in the 90s where Joey White voiced 2 versions of Sonic who were very different in both shows. So it's kind of the same thing here where, you know, we had the movie versions and now we have the animated versions with the same voice actors, or actors, I should say.
There were a couple that bothered me. Audrey Plaza bothered me.
Really?
Yeah, but I think Audrey Plaza just bothers me in general sometimes. So there was too much of her.
I don't know.
I felt like she nailed her character perfectly.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
She did. There's just too much of it.
I think I
there's
liked
never
her
enough
way
Julie.
more here than in the.
Okay, I understand that, but it's just like that. The way you're saying that, like it's a criticism, that doesn't work then as a criticism. Like, no offense.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
I came into this with the unpopular opinion. I know. I don't know. I was just very turned. Like, I didn't even want to watch this. I was bored. I was watching sports documentaries instead. I only could watch the show while I edited, or I just wasn't interested. That's not like me.
Like, I kind of understand it because I was a lit. I knew beforehand that this was not going to be a 1-for-1 shot because I had seen one review where it had stated this is not a 1-for-1 shot, and I was like, okay, prepared to know going in that it wasn't going to be a 1-for-1. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I do still vastly prefer the movie, in my opinion. Like it's one of my favorite movies of all time, just like you. But I do, like I said, I do appreciate it being like a complimentary, like a supplementary entry to the world, you know, like because of what they do, expanding on the other characters, because the movie focuses just on Scott and a little bit on the others. Like it's just the Scott show, obviously, because it's his name there. But you know, like I guess it is the whole marketing thing is what bothers me, that they have pushed it as being something very close to the original graphic novels and the movie when it's not. Like that does bother me, but I still appreciate the whole thing of Ramona being basically the main character of the show.
Yeah, which was cool. I mean, I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead in general, so I didn't mind her voice. I don't know, to go back to what I was saying, like Audrey Plaza, I don't know what it was about Julie, but it just bugged me in this.
For the record, it's Aubrey Plaza. You keep on saying Audrey Plaza. It's Aubrey.
Yeah. Mike always changes names, so don't worry.
This one wasn't on purpose at all.
No, I know. Sorry, I'm not trying to dunk on you. I just want to make sure people's names are like properly said. But you know, like I understand how important a name is. You know.
Well, I also was upset that Anna Kendrick's only in like 3 scenes. I really like Anna Kendrick.
Oh, I love Anna Kendrick too. Yeah, she's great.
And I like the character in Scott Pilgrim. You don't have her in this, really.
No, she's not. Like, she's just added there. That was an easy paycheck. Just say like 3 lines and then you're done. So because she doesn't do anything like compared to the movie where she was like actually, you know, a little bit more active and all that.
That bugged me too.
I like.
Which character are we talking about?
What? Oh, sorry.
His sister, Stacy.
His sister.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Stacy Pilgrim. Yeah. I understand a lot of everyone's, it seems like mostly everyone's criticisms here were like, there's so many rich characters in this series, and like, it just seems like no matter what happens, it doesn't seem like every single character gets like, you know, their fair shake of screen time. But like, I kind of feel like that's just something I've kind of learned to deal with as Scott Pilgrim as a whole, like whether it be the comic books or the movie or the new anime, the new anime cartoon or whatever you want to call it as. I consider it like as a full blown like anime, like Japanese animation anime, because it is animated by a Japanese animation studio. So I would call it like anime. But yeah, like I just feel like no matter what version you're getting of Scott Pilgrim, like there's gonna be like a consequence that like a character that you like probably won't get that much like, you know, either screen time or like, you know, enough lines.
Which is the problem I feel like with the twins. They are like,
oh yeah, the Katinagi. Yeah, the Katinagi.
They do more, and they are a little bit more than they were in the movie, but they are still like they get the short end of the stick, basically. Like we don't
it sucks too because in the comic there's some really good fight scenes with them. Like,
and in the comic and the game, the only 2 pieces that have them predominantly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and in the game, if I remember correctly, the robot is like a big robot.
Yeah.
Like it's a big mech.
Not only do you fight the twins, but you also fight the robot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, this could be a good opportunity. No, never mind. Like not even the final battle. I was like, I don't know.
I mean, one thing good I do want to say about the anime is I do like how it really emphasized that Scott and Ramona are not good people in this.
No, well, I hold on. That's,
well, they're young. They're young and immature, and you make that decision.
I think that's a little mean to say, quote unquote, not good people. They're very flawed. Like they're very flawed, dumb, young. Well, okay, I'm sorry, not dumb. That's even meaner. I'm sorry, that's shitty of me, but just they're very flawed young people. Like they're both very they both have very kind of not checkered pasts, but they're both just neither of them have a good handle on what they want out of a quote unquote relationship. Like Ramona thinks she knows what she wants, but she also has trust issues. Scott thinks he knows what he wants, but he's very simple-minded. Like, and I think that's what kind of creates an interesting chemistry between the two of them as a relationship, is that they both have these like they're both like jigsaw pieces of a weird like picture, and they kind of barely fit together, but as they do fit together, it's kind of like pretty in a way. I don't want to say it's like beautiful, because that sounds a little.
Says it.
Okay, yeah, actually, no. There you go. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's actually even better. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Joe, I haven't heard you much yet. Did you have a hard time like I did?
So I actually did have a hard. I had a hard time like Mike did actually, and because there's a lot of stuff I wanted to see in the comics, from the comics, like there's a lot of fight scenes and other stuff like that. But one of the things also I realized is I finished the show and I was like, man, the show is really good. I'm gonna go ahead and read the comic, and I have something through Amazon, and so I was able to read the entire color version for free. I think it was like comics or whatever, and I can sit there, but I actually like the show more because I sat there and went, this comic has not aged well, like at all. Like not at least 40% of the comic has not aged well. And there's a lot of stuff from the comic that they've already confirmed we're not getting a second season, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't answered because of the way the show's pacing. And I don't know if they planned it out that way or not. Like one thing, which is like a huge part of the comic, is they don't ever mention, or Ramona's age isn't brought up until the third book. And in the show, it's actually never even brought up, because every time her little character profile comes up, it never says her age.
Mm-hmm. I didn't catch that. I only saw it near the end when you see Ramona in the future, and it didn't have her age.
And there's also a really important bad guy plot point, which I guess is never brought up ever again, so it's okay, which is the fact that Gideon is a massively huge asshole, but I also love seeing him dumbed down to a stupid, dorky dude, so part of me also loves the show for that as well.
I mean, he's a stupid, dorky character in the book as well, because what was his plan? He was just going to get Ramona back and put her in a crystal akin to the Zelda maidens.
Hey, I do love all the Zelda references in here with the Triforce all the time.
Same.
I was a little shocked when he goes up to Ramona for the first time, and I was expecting the Pac-Man joke. I was surprised, and I got the Sonic joke instead. I was like, this isn't what I expected.
Again, it's not a loop, it's a spiral, Mike.
See, I didn't notice that one, but I did notice when Crash and the Boys didn't go up on stage.
Yeah, I did too.
I honestly, I love this. I love the name drop references for these, like for example, like literally just the name drops, like Crash and the Boys and like Clash at Demon Head, like oh my god,
Pop and B.
Yes, Pop and Twinbee. It's Pop and Twinbee. Pop and Twinbee. Like, I just all these like obscure game references, especially Pop and Twinbee, because like that literally never came out over here. Like, unless you were fudging around with ROMs, or like you like, and I say recently, as in just recently, have got like the Nintendo Online service for the Switch, where you can play the old games on it. Like, unless you have you picked one of those two options, I doubt people know what that even is. So
which is sad. I love such a good game.
Yeah, that Pop and Twinbee rules, and same with Clash of Demon Head and Crash and the Boys. Those are all just like damn really solid underrated games.
I know of them. I've never played them. But no, I enjoyed the references. So, Emanuel, I have a question for you. I wonder if you thought the same thing. When you finally found out that there's two Scotts, two Pilgrims, bitch.
Two Scott, two Pilgrim. Uh-huh.
Did you get Infamous vibes? Because as soon as I saw him, that it was Scott from the future with the hoodie on and the mask, I'm like, Kessler. That's what went through my head immediately.
Oh my god, I didn't. Yeah. I did not think of that actually. Huh.
That's what went through. I thought, okay, it's it's him from the past, him from the future coming back to the past to get him ready for the future. That's kind of what I mean. That's what I thought immediately was Infamous.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I don't know why, but that's what came to my head.
There's so many video game references.
Oh god, yes, and that's what made this anime fun. Like I do like it in the first episode with the jacket, and he's like, she's like, "What's the X for?" And he's like, "You must not be a student of Xavier." Like,
yeah,
is that a Sonic
I
thing?
like the little stuff like that. that
Super
Ramona doesn't work
Ramona.
for Amazon. She works for Netflix delivering DVDs.
Did anybody notice the Oshi egg one?
Yeah, that is very cute. Also, not to be like a total obnoxious, like annoying, nerdy asshole here, but I don't mean to actually the series, but like if this is set in like the mid to late 2000s in Toronto, well, actually, Netflix wasn't available in this region at that time. She would be working for zip.ca for renting DVDs and not Netflix.
Well, okay, if it was in America, she is an American using a subspace highway.
Yeah, but like she's working in Canada, and Canadian Netflix did not exist at all at that time.
Exporting the DVDs. We don't know.
But that's not
Damn,
legal,
Ramona's a
though.
smuggler.
I mean, she's got star shit all over her, which I just assume is the way that she uses the subspace highway.
No, but like she's officially working for Netflix in Canada, and like even then, like they wouldn't just do that. Sorry,
No,
like
you're
I
right,
like I
you're
said,
right.
I don't mean to be the pedantic nerdy asshole here and like ruin everybody's fun, but like I'm a Canadian. That's why I know this, because like in the mid to late 2000s, Netflix did not fucking exist here at all. The only like thing that existed here for renting DVDs online in the mid to late 2000s in Canada was zip.ca. So that's why I did the dumb nerdy voice and did the actually. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You gave us a fact that
up there at the very least.
That was just a dumb nerdy joke I wanted to make whenever I got to podcast about this. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna piss everybody off. I'm so sorry.
It's funny, so it's okay.
God bless you all. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you.
Okay, but I just thought it was just cute that that was the case.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh yeah. Of course.
it was like, because again, since Netflix funded this, they're like, well, she's delivering Netflix. It just was. It was. You see, I was hoping it was going to be like that, like because this first episode, I really enjoyed this first episode. I have liked it that it was close, but not exactly the same thing. And then when Scott gets into the fight and disappears, that's when it's not a bad show. It's an, like I said, I'm going to say this multiple times. It's a me problem. And I always recognize me problems. I don't want anyone, because like, I'm too attached to this movie. My wife, when one of our early dates, I had her watch the first movie I introduced her to was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That was my first dinner date where we watched a movie together. Like,
Aww.
that's how much I love this film. Like, it's just one of those movies that, and I'm too attached, and that was an issue for me coming in this.
No, I get it. But that's such a sweet story, though. Aw, I imagine like a younger Mike going on his like first date with his soon-to-be wife, and it's just, I don't know, that's so cute.
It was at my apartment because the movie came out years ago. But
no, of course, but still, like you probably made dinner, or you ordered dinner, or did something.
I made tilapia, I think.
Okay, well there you go. You made dinner, and you got the movie ready, and I don't know, it's so cute.
You gave a piece of yourself to her.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you needed to do some bread with garlic, like garlic bread.
I
But it
think
makes
I
you
probably
fat.
had to.
And then question if it makes you fat.
Yeah,
But it's not all that.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
And then you would eat it together, and then you would talk about it, and then she would say, yeah, but Ben, bread makes you fat, and then with your mouth full, you'd be like, bread make you fat?
No, I think I made tilapia mushrooms, and I probably had some French bread on the side that I used to get from Walmart.
Oh, that actually sounds kind of nice.
It was. She didn't. And then the funny thing is that the irony of this, she doesn't like this movie. I brought it up. She's like, I'm not watching that movie again. And two, she didn't eat the fish I made for a long time after that. She's like, I don't like fish that much. So that's the irony of the joke. But
Hey, that means she really loves you. She put up with stuff she's not a fan with because she likes you, and that's
she's still with me after I've been recording 5 years of this podcast.
And hey,
I do 3 episodes a week. So
unlike
right
Scott
there.
and Ramona, you two actually, genuinely love each other, and you have a genuine romance. So hooray!
They genuinely love each other by the end.
No, they do. I'm sorry. That's really mean.
in this,
okay, yeah, they do.
Okay, I did appreciate the future stuff with here. I did appreciate getting closer to their story of what happens. Like, I like all that.
Yeah.
I think it was just hard for me to have Scott not be here.
No, I get that.
Because I like Michael Cera. I think
Yeah.
he did a good job in this when he is around. Like, he was a decent voice actor.
And the thing about Scott in this is that he's a much better Scott than he was in the movie. Like, he doesn't come up as creepy as he did in the movie. Like, They do obviously play it like more of the cartoonish side of being a young adult.
And he's
and
not
all
as
that.
like shy as like early Michael Cera roles. Like early Michael Cera from like 2006, like 2005 to 2010ish. Like a lot of that era Michael Cera is like kind of still the shy, like, oh hi, like that type of timid performance where like now it's like, okay, Michael Cera is a lot older. He knows how to, well, I mean, he's always known how to act, but now he has like an actual groove to his acting, like he understands his groove. And now with that proper Michael Cera groove, now he like really knows how, and now he really gets the Scott Pilgrim character.
Yeah, because one of the line changes, I guess, is when he says in the movie, like, we have a band, and she's like, you guys have a band, and he's like, yeah, we suck, please come. Yeah. But it's like, very demeaning of himself and all that. And here it's like, yeah, we suck, we know, but hey, please come. Like, it's a little bit more assertive.
It's better.
Like, yeah.
I mean, that's why I wanted a reenactment of the movie. I wanted a reenactment of the comic because I've read some of the comic, and I know there's scenes that they didn't put in the movie, obviously, and that's what I wanted. And that was my issue, is that I thought that's what I was getting, and I wasn't, and I was upset.
You were bamboozled. You were swindled.
There is another greater part of this movie that I also, or not movie, it's a TV show. There's a very hard part of this anime that I love. That's also very inclusive to it. Is I love that they changed Ramona's character from the movie to what it kind of originally is in the book. Because in the movie, they kind of show her as a cool kind of loner, kind of like they kind of made her too cool for Scott. But in the show, taking Scott away, they do kind of show her goofier side. Like, she makes goofy faces, she makes jokes. And there's tons of it in this, and I love it. And I'm glad they made those changes as well.
I especially loved it when that goofy face, that one goofy face she makes when they're like, so you're Ramona Flowers, and you're going to play your Ramona Flowers stunt double, and she's like,
yeah,
like
it's my favorite face in the whole thing.
It's nice to see all the evil exes have their own little things outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting.
That was good.
Todd and Wallace forever.
Yeah,
I didn't like that Matthew Patel became Gideon, essentially. Like, I didn't like that. It was just too much of that character for me in this.
I disagree. That's like one of my favorite parts of the series, because I always loved Matthew Patel. Like, the comic, I loved him because I get what he was as a character. This like obnoxious theater geek. I'm sorry, he's a closeted theater geek, but like, he's very performancey, even when he's just talking, or like he's in the fight, or he's about to fight someone, like in the comic or the movie. But like the cartoon series, it's like, we noticed that Matthew Patel is this fucking closeted theater geek who's such a goddamn nerd, and like that's what his character is gonna be, full bloom in the cartoon. And I'm like, thank you, I love it.
This is my favorite version of Roxy. I didn't think I needed her to whistle the hamster dance while leaving a fucking video store, but I guess that's a thing I needed.
That was great. Oh yeah, that's something else I was so happy with this cartoon, is that we got more of Roxy, because it's like, okay, I love her in the comic and the game and the movie, like, because I'm such a big fan of Mae Whitman, Mae Margaret Whitman. I know now she just goes by Mae Whitman. And like the fact that they did quite a bit more in the cartoon, I was like, thank you. Like, I wanted more of her. Thank you so much.
I did appreciate the Roxy stuff. I do. I know I've been bitching a bit, but I do want to say I really did appreciate the fact that they did expand on the X's, that it gives you way more information than a quick little scene. Like, that was good, and it shows you the effect that would happen to them after she left them. Like, all that was very good, because I get it. I have an ex that, like, we just kind of broke up and never talked to her again, and there are times where I'm like, I want to know what happened exactly, even though it's irrelevant. It's always there in my head, so I completely could relate to parts with this for some of these, and I liked it. Like, again, I wanted to like this anime. Like, I don't know. I was just too much, and it was hard for me. But
no, I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Did you not like the whole bit about the movie thing?
No, I thought the premise was cool, that future Ramona went back in time to write this based on the movie type of that young Neil wrote. But I didn't like it. it was just annoying me because it's like, here you're shoving it in my face that I don't have Scott, instead I have all these other idiots dressing up as Scott, pretending to be Scott, answering to Scott. They're not. I was irritated.
I loved it.
You didn't like the director,
It was so
Ron?
stupid.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
It's fine.
Like, Mike, I love you. I love you to death, man. You're a great podcaster, and I love being on the shows. But I strongly disagree with all this.
You guys all can. I knew going into this that I was going to have the hot, spicy opinion. Like, I'm not.
No, I get. Yeah.
Mike Albertin versus the world.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. We need the announcer from the show. We need Stefan Johnson. We need someone go to his Patreon or whatever the fuck he has and hire him. And like, quick, Stefan Johnson, can you please like say this one little line for our podcast, please? Just say this and just add it in and edit it.
That would be great.
Versus his cohort.
No,
Exactly.
I'm aware, but it's just, again, sometimes it's hard when you're really like close to something.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I
It's
get
like
it.
I also love, like, here's the thing about Scott Pilgrim, like, I literally love every single iteration of Scott Pilgrim. I love the original comics. I've read all of them. I read them right before the movie came out, like this summer. Like, I think I got the first volume in May of 2010-ish, and then like I heard about the movie coming out, and I think in May or June, it's like, oh, there's going to be a Scott Pilgrim movie. Okay, then like I got all of the volumes that I could right before the movie came out, and then I think the final volume came out in like July of 2010, and then the movie came out in August. I believe that's what happened. And yeah, anyways, like I studied up and I really loved it. Like I loved the comics, and I was like, okay, I really like this. I like these characters. I love the story. I get the whole redemption saga thing, and yeah, cool. I love it, and I love all the video game stuff. Like I basically, I'm actually probably the worst Scott Pilgrim fan because I actually don't even recognize any of the flaws in like the story or the characters. Like no, like I get they're flawed, and I acknowledge that, but like even and then I can't help but see the perfection of Scott Pilgrim. Like I love the comic, I love the movie. Probably, if not for Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, might actually be my favorite Edgar Wright movie. It's a hard draw. Edgar Wright's done a ton of good movies, but like I love the video game. I love the video game to death. I love the video game so much. It's such a great beat 'em up. It's so well done. I love the new cartoon, or I'm sorry, the new anime. I love it. I love the new character. I love what happened. The new story development for the characters in the cartoon, in the anime. I love all the new character development in the anime. I love that, you know what? Scott isn't the main protagonist this time for this. Like, I love Scott as a character. I think Scott's a great character. I think he's extremely relatable. I think he's a total piece of shit, and that's why he's a great character. And I'm not saying this in that fuck, what's the main character's name from Fight Club? I can't remember.
Tyler Durden. Well, it's
thank
Jack.
you, Tyler
Durden.
Sorry, thank you. I'm not saying this in that Tyler Durden, Walter White way of like, you know, dude bro garbage shit. Like
well,
I'm
he's
saying
not that.
No, exactly. But just like no, like Scott Pilgrim is a piece of shit in a different way, a flawed piece of shit in a different way, and that's why I love him. Like I love Scott Pilgrim the character, but you know what? As much as I love Scott Pilgrim, I love that there was something different about this. I love that it wasn't a one-to-one copy of the comic or retelling of the movie. I mean, it is a retelling, but not in like a one-to-one copy way. Like I love that Scott Pilgrim takes off as a completely different take on the story. I love that Ramona got to have a lot more character development. I love that all the exes aren't actually so evil in the long run. Like, no, it's just everyone's really flawed, and they're all young people, and they're not mature adults, and they all did stupid and shitty things at one point in their lives. And I love that. I think that's beautiful. We need more of that for young people. We need to tell young people that, hey, no, like, here's the thing. At some point in time, you're going to be a piece of shit, and that's okay. It's okay to be a piece of shit. Like, it's okay to be an idiot. It's okay to be an asshole. I mean, no, I'm sorry. It's not okay to be an asshole, but just, no, like, at some point in time, you're just going to be an asshole, and that's okay, but you need to learn how to better yourself. You need to learn from those moments and be a better person so you can love people, and they can learn to love you, and you can create relationships in your life. Like, sorry, like, I love Scott Pilgrim so much with all my heart, and it's just, Yeah, I might be the worst person here because, like, Mike,
You're
unlike you, I think you have a beautiful view of Scott Pilgrim, and I think you're making a lot of great points. I think everyone else here has beautiful views of Scott Pilgrim. I think you're all making great points too. But yeah, just like I love Scott Pilgrim, warts and all. And yeah, I really loved Takes Off. I thought it was a great retelling of the series in a new modern way.
I have a quick question for Kyle, and I also have a quick question for Joe. That's okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so Kyle, you're another big Edgar Wright fan.
Oh yeah.
Did you notice what the two security guards at the end of the anime are eating?
Yes, that was so great. Like, I listened to their voices, like, what the fuck? Hold on, and like I rewound, and I'm like, okay, what? Hold on, one more time, and then like, huh? And then I'm just like, oh my god, I think that's him. And then I listened to the other one, I'm like, just like I screamed. I
just love that they're eating cornettos of all things.
They're eating the little cornetto ice creams and.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah, I fanboyed so hard. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
How
many Evangelion references are there in this anime?
Solidly, like 5, I think.
Okay, because I noticed the Scott head being the Ray head from End of Evangelion on the movie poster, and I also realized that AK fields are just AT fields.
Yes.
If you want to count. If you want to count Gideon watching the screen, there's also an Evangelion reference. And
like
also
Steely or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah, and then that also including at the ending. Yeah, it's about 5.
God.
But there's chock full of references. I was actually going to ask y'all if someone on Twitter said that the backstory for Ramona and what is the girl's name?
Roxy?
No, Roxy. The backstory for Ramona and Roxy is supposed to be a reference to some Yuri anime called Something in October.
Yuri on Ice? Not that one?
No.
Okay.
That's
Yuri on Ice is dudes. Yuri on Ice is dudes.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Okay.
I also have posters of it because my wife loves it.
I don't know about that one, but I watched the clip again of future Ramona being a delivery person. Is that Death Stranding?
Yes,
it's Death Stranding.
It is.
Okay.
It is 100%.
No, that's not because Scott Pilgrim existed before Death Stranding.
Yeah, but we never saw future Ramona until now.
Yeah, and it takes place in the future, so it's
okay. All right.
I also like how no one acknowledged that the future's kind of shitty, that everything's just kind of overgrown, and that we all live kind of in
that's
like bunkers.
Probably my biggest gripe with episode 7, that we don't get like a context of why is Toronto now like this? Like, what the hell happened beforehand?
It doesn't matter. All that matters is that Wallace is still alive.
It would probably take too fucking long because, like, come on, it's if that was the apocalypse, that would have taken like fucking forever to explain.
I would have loved it if that apocalypse would have been created because of Scott fighting the evil X's or something.
Same.
That would have been that would have been stupid, but I would have dug it.
I'm also a big fan of them going like, oh, it's the future. It's like, yeah, come look at the video game, and it's the goddamn Virtual Boy. I thought that was
that was funny.
And the code to the door is Shoryuken.
My Game Boy.
Oh, okay. That brings up another comment I want to bring up. So when we see old Scott, that's a Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's Evil Ryu.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Even though I've never played
Scott.
any Street Fighter past 2 and 4, that's all I ever played. I watched a lot of YouTube videos about the lore of Street Fighter because I really like it.
See, one of the things that I love is for the Virtual Boy is the very last panel of the flashbacks is one of Scott's hand-drawn pictures of an evil Ramona, and it says divorce. But Ramona doesn't see that. She just says that she needed a break because, of course, Scott thinks it's a divorce. So he's the one who made the panel.
Yeah.
I love that.
Too bad we didn't get a line of her going, "We were on a break."
Yeah. You know, what is this? What is this? Friends? What is? Who is she? Ross?
So
I hate that episode.
Well, that's what that's from.
I know.
We're on a. I just find that weird you'd reference that if you hate it so much.
Super confused.
Well, no, I like the show Friends. I don't like that part.
Yeah, no, okay.
But it's
okay.
funny.
Sorry.
It's memorable. And it's
one of the things that I also noticed rewatching it, which is kind of funny as well. Whenever Scott asked older Scott what happened, he says it's during the fight. It's something along the lines of like, we had a good 13 or 14 ish good years and the time skip between Scott and older Scott is about 14 or 15 years, which means that separation happened roughly a year ago. So Scott's been living with Wallace for about a year.
Yep. Okay.
And he just loses it right after. But I get it, though. I mean, like, one thing I've always said, and I completely believe this, that if you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship and it lasts for 4 years and it ends badly, if you had 4 good years, you had 4 good years, except that don't hate everything because of a little bad situation at the end.
No,
That's always been my little my thing in my head about that. But it makes sense for Scott to be like, okay, well, she left me, so now we're going to go back and erase it, so make sure it never happened. It fits the character.
Yeah.
That's where, like, and I wish we could have gotten maybe both or either or something, or it's always advised to read the comic. It kind of makes sense why he freaked out, because in the comic originally, she also leaves. Like, she straight up leaves and doesn't say anything. So for her to do it again, it's kind of normal for him to have a whole panic attack.
Yeah, but then at the end of this version, Super Ramona says, hey, I might run away, but make sure to hold on to me. Make sure that I don't run away. You can change that. Emanuel put it very well, that it's a spiral. Good old Alan Wake.
Hey.
But I don't really get that reference completely, but I have an idea what you guys mean. So
you will
one
get
day
there.
You will. Exactly.
Years from now, yes.
I
do remember the end of Alan Wake 1.
It's going to be fucking amazing.
He makes a comment about something like that too at the end, that it's not what he thought it was, and he says something, but I can't. It's been so long. But that's neither here nor there.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, it does have some one thing I want to bring up in one of the episodes that we have to bring up, like the whole Wallace with, what is his name? My brain can't remember.
Todd.
Yeah, that was entertaining. I enjoyed that.
Like how they established that Wallace has powers, basically, because he can just look at someone and just turn them. So because in the movie,
gay romance thing, that was great.
In the movie, it's just like, he stares at at Stacy's boyfriend or whatever, and and then they just show them making out. And here they actually establish, like, no, he kind of has powers. Like, in this zany goddamn world where everybody seems to have powers or stuff going on, like, he also has powers.
Well, in the comic, doesn't he train Scott?
I don't know. I've never.
No, I don't think so.
No.
You guys haven't read the comic. That's so weird.
I have read the comics. It's been very, very long.
I've played the game, I've watched the movie, and now the anime, but I've never.
That's so weird to me, because like the comics is so short. It's only like 8. I think actually not even 8. I think it's 6 volumes.
It's 6.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 6 volumes. Excuse me. It's 6 volumes long, and it's a super short read. Like, that's so weird to me. I'm really sad.
Well, I haven't done it because I want to record about it, and it hasn't happened yet that I planned it.
Okay.
Again, this wasn't supposed to happen either. I was so excited when this got announced and it was coming out that I put together this team, and then I was disappointed by the show.
This Suicide Squad.
I don't know. I feel weird because, like, in my kind of overview of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, I love that it's not a 1-for-1 like copy of the comic. Like, I love that it's a whole new story. Because, like, I've already read the comic. I've already seen the movie. I don't need another fucking retelling. Like, it's fine. Thank you. Like, I love a new thing. Like,
well, that's why I called it
I think
earlier.
That's great.
That's why I said earlier that it's an amalgamation. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the actors from the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The person who Wallace ends up with in the last episode is one of the background sprites from the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
and not
I
only
love that.
but what is Kim's ending in the video game? It's her and Knives ending up together.
Yeah, and they kiss,
cool.
And I love it. It's so good.
Okay, I did not know that. That's cool. One thing I have to bring up is that the intro to every episode, the way they say the title is a different video game reference. One of them is Legend of Mystical Ninja. Is the font?
Yes. Yeah, I love that every. You mean the episode title card? Every episode title card is like just a whole fucking video game reference. I think my favorite video game reference, it's a pretty obvious one. I feel like even like people who don't really play that many video games may know this. They may. Like, I'm not saying that they will. Is the title card for episode 3, Ramona Rents a Movie, Ramona Rents a Video. It's a title card reference to Bubble Bobble. I was like, oh, that's so cute. I love it.
Bubble Bobble.
Yeah. Well, now that theme's going to stay in my head all day.
Oh, I was wrong. I thought it was Mystical Ninja, but it's not. But there are a bunch of...
Ramona Rents a Video is Bubble Bobble. I think the last episode is... No, actually...
Clash of Demon Head is the last episode.
Is the Clash title card. I believe episode 6 is Mega Man, like classic Mega Man.
5 is Mega Man.
I believe
6 is
Pac-Man.
5.
I'm sorry. I thought 6. Yeah, okay, there we go. Sorry, 5. It was 5. That's the Mega Man reference.
No, 6 is either Pac-Man or Dig Dug is the one that I was thinking of.
6 is Pac-Man.
Yeah.
But it looks like you're right. It could be either or, but it's supposed to be Pac-Man.
5 is the Mega Man reference, but it has like, you know how like pretty much most of the title screens for, and I say specifically Mega Man, not Rockman, but like Mega Man, like it's the big stretched out like giant letters, like giant font letters, like it's like that style. Yeah, like Mega Man.
Oh, one is Super Mario Brothers.
Fuck.
I didn't know that. 2 or so.
I think episode 1 or 2. I think 1 or 2. Yeah, that's
2 is Street Fighter. 3.
Yeah, okay.
1 is Mario.
Yeah, we have Street Fighter 2, 3.
Yeah, Bubble Bobble. Episode 3 is Bubble Bobble because that's Ramona
4
Rents
is
a Video.
Skate or Die, which why?
Yeah, Skate or Die.
Why not?
Yeah, Skate or Die. Oh no, Skate or Die would be perfect because, well, for one, was
the Chris
80s
Evans episode.
Yeah, that's it's Lucas Lee. Yeah, that's the Lucas Lee episode. Whatever. Yeah, and Skate or Die was a popular 80s, well, not like popular, but like it was a big 80s video game, and that was on the NES as well as every other console, but I know it was on NES because I'm sure the Brian Lee O'Malley played it, on the NES. So yeah, it's a Skate or Die reference.
It's also hard as fuck.
Oh yeah, it is. It's those older, like, kind of sportsy video games. A lot of them can be kind of tough. Like the controls are very specific.
Ping pong, a bunch of everything. We just talked.
What's up?
Yeah.
One of the things that is funny because we talked about it earlier, and that the show does reference a lot of stuff from the game later on in the episode where Wallace talks to younger Scott and he confirms that his husband works for Nintendo. In the game, when you find, I believe his name's it's like Gizmo or something, or I don't know what Wallace. Yeah, his shop. Whenever you go in there, Wallace says that, or someone says like there's a rumor that his boyfriend works at Nintendo. So I guess that confirms that Wallace married his boyfriend.
That's great.
I just like the Nintendo reference because it felt like
works at
the old
Nintendo.
My uncle works at Nintendo. That type
Everybody.
thing.
My uncle or my dad or my second uncle or whatever like works at fucking I'm sure he works at Nintendo. Like he like, and it was terrible for me because I'm in the middle of like buttfuck nowhere in the Midwest, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure your dad or uncle like lives in Washington State and fucking works for Nintendo of America. Okay,
Guys,
I'm sure.
Believe that Wallace's husband gets all the games for free.
I know he literally gets every single video game. Yeah.
God,
literally gets every single video game for free. Just has like a fucking mountain of video game. Whee!
So, one thing I did like about the story is that, like, 'cause in the second episode is when you have young Neil trying to write a script, doesn't do anything, and all of a sudden there's a script there. I thought it was Scott hiding who wrote it. I didn't think it was Ramona. But I like that twist that future Scott had the idea that, okay, I'm going to take Scott away so he never dates Ramona. And then Ramona's like, no, I'm going to go back in time and write a script about Scott's life. So Ramona looks for Scott. And I thought that was like, okay, that was cool. I did like stuff like that.
Point out something really terrifying about that episode.
Sure.
Neil just nonchalantly drops that he has a sleep paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My sleep
it's paralysis. Like, Neil, hey, Neil, you should go to a fucking doctor about that. That's, like, sleep paralysis and stuff like that. That's kind of a serious thing. You should go to a doctor. I was going to make that joke,
but it goes with Neil's character that he's just like this. Like, he's, I don't know if to say dumb, but he's just like, wow.
No.
Like,
hey, Mom, it's your son, young Neil.
Yeah, he's not dumb. He's just kind of spacey. I love that.
I will say I do love that we did get more Neil in this series.
Yeah,
like, he's like
that's another reason why I love Takes Off. Is more young Neil. Because I loved young Neil in the comic and in the movie. He gets some funny lines, and in this one, like he gets a cool little arc. And I thought like, oh, that's awesome. I get more of these other characters. Like hell yeah, I'm so happy with this.
I did appreciate stuff like that. And I do appreciate the Gideon arc where he becomes Goose. He goes by a different name and he's dating Julie. And she's like, I like the evil ambition. It's hot. Like, okay, that was fun. I didn't have issues with that stuff. Let's see some other stuff. Oh, to kind of the movie just, I don't know. I just didn't care for the whole movie plot that they're filming a movie. I thought was just stupid and it bothered me a lot.
I loved it.
Directed by Edgar Wrong.
Edgar Wrong.
I did not catch that.
Voiced by Cleefley, of all things.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they make a documentary, and the narrator for the documentary is Weird Al. Just I love
Yes. Who Weird Al is in that episode?
Yeah, he's the narrator. Is just like this documentary about this.
Yeah,
film.
I didn't get it at first. I had to
I did not either.
Others' reactions, and they were like, "Oh, okay, now I get it." Yeah, because I saw Weird Al at the credits at the end, and I was like, "Where the hell was Weird Al?"
Yeah, you gotta be paying close attention. Sorry.
I also like that. What is it? They have that fucked up throwaway line of them being like, "Oh yeah, we're famous people. We don't have to be good voice actors." And it's like, yeah.
That's funny too, because that's how I felt this whole time watching this. So I'm like, all right.
It's weird because I felt like a lot of the voice acting was actually pretty, like, not like great, but pretty good because they're being exactly their characters. Like Chris Evans is nailing his Lucas. Yeah, Chris Evans is nailing his Lucas Lee. Like, he's such a douchebag. I love it. Like, he's just that douchebag, selfish bro guy. Like, yeah, bro. Like, it's called a grind, bro. Like, I love that. Like, damn it, Chris Evans, you're so fucking great. Like, and I love that he's no longer, like, a Marvel superhero guy. Like, he can do, like, other roles, too. I mean, like, I loved his role as Captain America. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love that he can just do stuff now. Like, awesome. Like, I love Chris Evans in anything. He's so good. I love it.
I was referencing Chris Pratt, but okay, I wasn't even referencing the show. I was just making fun of Chris Pratt because Chris Pratt's pretty bad.
Chris Evans, I didn't like his voice acting in this, but again, I think that was a problem.
Disagree.
What?
Disagree.
Mike?
Problem. He captured the character perfectly. I just didn't like it.
Okay.
I can't. Brandon Routh was fine. I enjoyed.
Oh yeah, Brandon Routh is
fine.
Yeah, I wish. I loved how much we did get more of Todd in this, but I wish we got even more because it's like, man, Brandon Routh is hilarious. Like, his comedic timing is so good.
What was the last thing he was in? Because he's been Superman.
Yeah, he was Superman
Legends
back.
of Tomorrow.
And that's like really.
Yeah, I think. Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, Tomorrow. I think.
Oh right, the Atom. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. The Atom. And he was in the Crisis thing as Superman again.
Yeah,
I hope become Superman, right?
I hope he's in more stuff. Period. Because Brandon Roth is like super underrated. He's really
cool
good.
Actor.
Yeah,
I hope honestly he's in more comedies because he's really funny. Like his comedic, not to be redundant, but his comedic timing from Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is really damn good. Like, holy shit, this guy needs to be in more comedies.
I hate the last thing he's in.
What was that?
What was that?
He's in the last thing Brandon Routh's in that I physically know of is there's a TV show called The Rookie, and I love Brandon Routh. I love him in this, and I love him and everything else. And what's worse is he's the racist cop in the show. So he's very much. Yeah, it's like I don't want to see him like this. I like him.
No. I get playing a villainous role, but like I don't. Yeah, no, thank you. Like, there's enough racist cops in real life. I don't need to watch a TV show where an actor I like is like blood, N-word, blood, racial slur. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Going back to the characters, the one that I did kind of have a problem with voicing, or not voicing, but it's just it doesn't honestly sound like her at times. Was Envy. Brie Larson is.
Yeah, I can get that. Yeah, I kind of wondered about like Brie Larson. Like, was she like all the way there in the recording sessions? Because she sounded a little. Huh? Like,
like I love her so much in the movie where she's just like this evil bitch. Like,
it sounded a little like not off, but just a little like phoned in. I'm like, was she just busy with Marvel stuff at the time? Because like,
I mean, if you watch the Marvel movies, she's also never mind. Like I like Emanuel. Brie Larson. Like I love her in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And recently I watched Fast X because reasons. And she's great in that. And I'm wondering why can't she bring that same energy to other things like Captain Marvel and Scott Pilgrim Takes Off? Because I don't know. I didn't feel her.
Yeah, because in the movie she's excellent, and I like. Yeah, and like I loved her. I love Envy. Like she's also like a really good character, and like I love her songs, like Black Sheep by Metric.
Black Sheep by Metric.
Yeah,
love
Black Sheep. That song is so catchy. Like I
love
remember.
that they put it in the show.
Not to get too out of like nowhere abruptly, kind of sad, but a friend of mine who recently passed away. That was like. He wasn't the biggest Scott Pilgrim fan, but he was hooked on that song. Like, I remember every time on like Skype, whenever we'd voice chat, he'd just be like, okay, hold on, I gotta go listen to that again on YouTube. And I'm like, I know, right? It's so good.
Song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Funny enough, too, which is also a trivia fact from the episode, that section where the crowd singing, that was actually recorded live from someplace.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. That's awesome.
No wonder it sounded so bad.
Hey, come on.
I didn't like it. I was like, this doesn't sound very good.
It's a live. Well, of course it sounds bad. It's a live crowd. You have
a live crowd on my TV
show? You have
a
tiny little microphone against like 80 people or whatever, and they're all like, they're all gonna. It's all gonna sound weird.
Also,
but I love
good
that,
job,
though.
Netflix.
That's great. I love
also,
that.
Good job, Netflix. You couldn't afford to pay Brie Larson like a little bit extra money just to re-sing that song again.
Yeah, no
Come on,
kidding.
guys.
No, they could not.
No, but
let's just get the license to play that song. I mean, it's already been recorded.
Netflix, you can fucking afford it. Don't give me this.
I don't think Netflix has nearly the amount of money that people think Netflix has.
Oh no, they're probably gonna go bankrupt at some point.
Well, they sure do act like they have the money. So
because
they act like it.
If you act a certain way, people won't realize that you're lying. You bluffing. Mm-hmm. I think streaming is going to change a lot in the next 10 years. But,
it already is.
Yeah, it already is. Yeah.
I mean, look at Max. Max doesn't even want to exist. They have their way.
And there is the recent news with that.
And there was a point in time where Max was like probably the best streaming service because of all the titles they had. Like they had all of the Warner Brothers cartoons. They had like so many movies. Like, yeah, I know. Fuck, it sucks.
What were you going to say, Phoebe, about Max?
Sorry, Phoebe.
There's a potential that Max and Paramount Plus might fuse together.
Oh, great.
I read that.
Well, that's because
Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon fusing.
Warner Brothers wants to buy Paramount. Well, I think it's Discovery. Discovery is just bullshit, and that guy is an asshole. I forget his name, but
David Slav.
Yeah, because once he bought Warner Brothers, it just like that's when Max became bad because he started licensing everything out. They canceled Batgirl. All that shit happened.
Even before David Zaslav came into power, like Warner Brothers has been on a decline with like a lot of different stuff. Like their physical releases of their movies, like the menus for their Blu-rays are like super basic and boring and shit. Like
every DVD now, though.
No, there's still some Blu-ray menus that are actually like really well made and well coded and like are really fucking cool. Like no, like Warner Brothers Blu-rays, like for the past like decade, like literally the past decade, have been super boring and just basic. Not ugly, but just really fucking basic and just like, wow, Warner Brothers, fucking what the hell, you know?
But yeah, going back to Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. What was I going to say? Oh, right. The funny thing about the Metric song is that the lead singer of Metric, I think, is the one who sings in episode 2 in the funeral.
Yes. Right, yeah.
Yes.
So it's like...
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So it's like a reverse because in the movie, Brie is the one that sings the song, you know, from Metric and all that. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
Also, I love that stupid funeral thing. Like,
I remember that.
I love that they just put the coins in the casket. Like,
yeah,
that was good. Well, they didn't have a body because he's not dead.
Envy, goddess, queen, mommy, fucking
goddess, queen, mommy.
I love that part of that episode.
One thing with the show too that I like that it's never actually brought up in the books, and I'm glad that they did, is like what happens if Scott loses, and like does the person who wins beat Ramona? Because is Ramona supposed to go back to Gideon after someone wins? And they have this full-blown conversation about it.
That was the league rules, but Ramona is her own person. She was obviously she wasn't gonna go back.
Yeah, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. She's her own woman and she's her own person. Like, yeah.
That was so good, though. That scene where he's like, I won, I get you. And she's like, bye.
No. So, fuck you, bye.
There is something that Emanuel brought up.
Oh, no.
But we need to elaborate on it.
What did I do?
You say that at the funeral, they put the change in the coffin. Did anybody else notice in episode 7, old Scott talks about how in his timeline, when he defeated the evil X's, the twins respawned at their house.
Yeah.
So does that mean you can buy extra lives? Or you have enough money and that allows you to respawn? How does that universe work?
I think so. Because in the movie, Scott does get a 1-up once he beats the twins.
And you can buy them in the video game.
And also, like, does this universe have points too? Like, can you earn extra lives by? Do you earn extra lives by getting enough points? Like, do points exist too, or is it just money?
They do, because in the movie, once he defeated the evil X's, like you could see like points.
That's how he got the extra life. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Emanuel. Thank you.
So
love it.
Brain fart.
I just love that none of this shit is ever explained in any of this. Like, it's just like nonchalantly, like, you know.
So there's actually a fun reason for that too. It's funny because it rolls back into a thankfully not ending that we got for the movie. Apparently, after the book ended or after the movie came out, someone, Brian Lee O'Malley, was answering a bunch of questions on Tumblr, which is weird. And he confirmed that someone asked him, they're like, hey, do the X's die whenever Scott beats them? And I guess he never thought that far. And he's like, yeah, whenever Scott beats them, they just respawn at their house.
Oh, okay.
So they learn their lesson. Yeah. But then that doubles back to, in the movie, there were 3 endings created. There's the Ramona ending, and then there's a ending where he ends with. But there's a third ending there's a third ending that they wrote, but they never filmed. I kind of wish they had, but it's still a bad ending, where they were going to reveal the whole movie was in Scott's mind and he's a serial killer.
Oh no! Oh Christ, that's horrible!
No, please no.
You did it once with John Cusack. Don't do it again.
No.
Anything else? Like, I mean, the Ramona being a detective was cool. Like, you know, because again, the purpose of it is to have closure for the X's and for her. So, I mean, that was good. I was mostly bored from episode 2 to 7 when Scott finally shows up.
Oh, wow.
So anywhere where Scott was not present. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, when they got to 2 Scott, 2 Pilgrim, and you finally understand what happened, you have all the future stuff. I was on board. Like, I was then entertained enough. I still edited the whole time I watched the show because I couldn't help myself. But I just really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So can I have a Kyle moment here for a brief second?
Sure, please.
There was one instance, and I'm wrong, but there was one instance where the show still takes place in the same time, right? Like 2011 or 2010 or whatever. So you know how Scott and Ramona were talking like, oh, you did a good job, you were a good detective, and Ramona was like Columbo, and Scott was the one who said, like, Detective Pikachu, right? Detective Pikachu did not exist yet. Until, like,
that's
a couple years later.
True.
So
he was
it's like
painting out in the future.
Yeah.
He
with a roommate who's
all that in what? I don't know.
That's very true.
He played Detective Pikachu in the future.
True.
Who did, Wallace? No, Ryan Reynolds. What? I'm confused.
I'm saying that Scott in the young Scott.
Okay, he played. He got to play in the future.
We're getting
sent
back. I mean, how much time did Scott spend in the future, though?
True.
Enough to control the robot at a bunch of different points in the timeline.
Oh god, I did love that robot thing of like just getting stuck in the in the little goddamn it, what's that called, the wall where the robot was in the first fight.
Timeline?
No, because he's controlling the robot, but it's basically simulating like when you get stuck in front of a door or a wall in a video game. Like the robot just keeps running in that direction, but there's the wall there.
He would make a very good beta tester.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I have no idea.
Isn't it great that Ramona is so prepared she has a +10 hammer against elderly?
Yes.
God damn.
I was happy the hammer came back. I also like when they first go to meet future Ramona and she just kicks their ass because they're just in her apartment or her house. Yeah. Perfect sense. Like, what the fuck are you doing in some woman's house? But hey.
Yeah, exactly.
That was funny. I was kind of confused why Wallace has gray hair, but apparently everybody has gray hair at this point.
Yes, because it makes him look better.
Exactly.
Okay, here's another hot take because we haven't had enough of it in this episode.
Oh god.
I didn't like the voice actor. The actor for voicing Wallace. I like that character. I like that guy.
Kieran Culkin?
He's a good actor.
Culkin.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin.
He does a great job in Succession. He plays a perfect asshole. I do not like him voice acting in this.
What? I disagree strongly.
Jesus H. Christ, Mike.
Again, I told you I'm too attached to this that it was just, I don't know. I would have rather had since you're doing a different story, don't get the actors that we know. Just get people. Like,
I'm sorry, I disagrey.
I don't know at this point. I don't know at this point what to do with you, Mike.
I both agree and disagree with Mike.
Oh, also, Kim was bad. I didn't like Kim either.
Hey! Don't be talking about my girl like that.
I'm starting to feel like we need... I think that we need to make ourselves a time-traveling robot and go back to the past and slap Mike or do something to Mike. The timeline changes and
have a problem.
We need to program the robot to make Mike read the comic and then watch the movie and then watch all of the anime and then do it all properly and then there we go.
This recording alone has been great just because of the immense discourse between everybody and Mike.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I knew that coming in when I watched this. I watched like 4 episodes. I was like, I wanted to text the group and say, when does the show get good? But I'm like, I'm gonna wait.
How dare you?
The audacity.
So I had that. I also really like how Ramona dyes her hair more in this than she did in the movie.
I love that.
I
love that.
I like that. Yeah, I think that I know where you're going. I like that in each beginning of the episode, we see her dyeing her hair and you see her complexion. And at the end, when it's all said and done, when she does the final hair edit, she finally smiles.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
Oh, I didn't get that. That's cool.
That's so cute.
Is dyeing your hair hard?
Not... You're probably like, okay, sorry, I don't want to word it like that way specifically, but like, I'm not going to say you're going to scribble. Like, it's going to seem hard at first, but it's just, you need to understand, like, you just need to understand, like, the groove of it. Like, you need to, like, do it first, like, before you get good at it. Like, it's a little weird at first.
Okay.
I mean, I've never dyed my hair, but I watched my wife dye her hair. Does that count? So
always wanted to do it in this, just double down on that.
You should.
Much like how I'm so glad that this gives rollerbladers some vindication.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like... Oh, yeah, she had rollerblade... Okay, that was funny when they made the rollerblade joke. She's like, yeah, these are made from a DeLorean.
Yeah.
That was funny. It's like, I just go 88 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers.
Yeah.
That made me laugh really hard, too.
Yeah, Sam, that made me...
Well, I also just finished that trilogy on this podcast, which...
Oh, nice.
So it was just kind of amusing me, like, yeah, DeLorean.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it
That's
now.
A classic series. Good stuff.
One great movie, one okay movie, and 2 okay movies.
Those are also fighting words.
Mike, I love you. That's why I'm going to hunt you down and fight you. Because I love you.
Far from Canada. I'm in Minnesota, so.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, what area are you in Canada?
I'm in Saskatchewan. So I'm a little ways away. I'm not too far out from sorry, I was going to say Manitoba. That's another Canadian province. From Minnesota, excuse me.
Okay. I know Manitoba, sort of.
Yeah.
And I know I know where Newfoundland
is. Actually, Manitoba is actually super close to Minnesota. So, yeah, you're not too far off from me.
Not that far. So I told my wife, I got her all excited one day. I was like, for my 40th birthday, we're leaving this country. She got all excited. I'm like, we're going to Toronto. She's like, what?
Hell yeah.
She's like, I thought we'd go somewhere like more, like Greece or somewhere more exciting. I'm like, nope, we're going to Canada.
Come over here, Mike.
Yeah, Toronto rules.
I do kind of want to visit Puerto Rico.
It's a cool place. There's a lot of cool actually, really a lot of Ontario is pretty cool. There's a lot of cool places in Ontario. There's Toronto, there's Ottawa. You can see all like the cool political stuff of Ottawa.
The reason I want to go to Toronto because of this movie.
Of course it is.
No, of course, yeah.
So that plays a part in it.
Yeah, no, of course.
But I've always we'll see.
I would prefer you to lean. I would prefer you to lean towards more Puerto Rico, only because I can sit there and be like, all right, we're going to Puerto Rico. Here's money for a baseball bat. Go ahead and just go get Emanuel for me. Just get a good licking for me.
Yeah, just kidnap him, you know.
Do you know I have a keyblade to defend myself, right, sir?
Oh, yeah.
And it's cloak of darkness, so he can just go in the shadows and disappear, right?
You know what you did.
What did I do?
Wow.
You know what you did.
I don't know.
Or is he going to be like Mickey and strip naked, then teleport around to the darkness, huh?
If you're kind of starting like, I know what you did last summer. No, I don't.
Guys, there are 5 of us. We have to make Mike the beat-em-up boss, okay?
Yes, exactly.
I did really... The last episode, I was completely on board. I was editing while watching it, but I really enjoyed when everybody gets together and then old Scott teleports
Even
them.
older Scott.
Yeah, and then they all fight. Like
that was
that's
cool.
Really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
That God, instead of trying to fix his marriage or whatever, he just dedicated 10+ years of his fucking life to just intricately studying all the evil exes that he fought before and learning all of their techniques and shit.
Yeah.
Like, good God. Wait a minute.
Yeah, like Scott, you idiot. Like you had time to focus on the actual important things. And the only thing you did in those years was learning to fight more. You moron. You absolute moron.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like going back before even older Scott. Like both Scott and Ramona did, instead of doing I don't know why, but I guess it's a human thing of like not communicating and not talking shit, because everything could have been resolved instead of going back to the past and the other one also going back to the past. They could have just talked.
Hey, Rosie points that out to Ramona.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think in the last episode, don't they say something along the lines of where it's like, you've been training in your basement for 10 years, and Scott's like, well, where were you for 10 years, Ramona? And she kind of doesn't really give an answer either.
Yeah, she also makes a comment where she's like, she's like, I didn't want a divorce. Like, we would have gotten back together. He's like, we can get back together. She's like, not now. I like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I mean, 10 years. Like, and you just beat the shit out of like her past self or your past self. Like, I mean, you're not.
Yeah, you have some anger issues.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
But communicate. It's a very much. I mean, that they are like Kyle was right. Like, I shouldn't say they're bad people. They're flawed characters, and that's what makes them so interesting.
And
because
Mike, I feel like out of anybody here, you would especially know this type of relationship stuff. Is you're married and you have a great relationship with your wife. I'm not saying anybody else here doesn't. Like, I'm sure all of you have like wonderful boyfriends and girlfriends and stuff.
Nope.
I mean, I'm just
Nope.
I refuse to date anymore. I've done that enough.
I'm sorry.
I'm too unlucky for that, so nope.
Well, if it makes anybody feel better, I actually just broke up with my girlfriend recently, so okay. Well, sorry, but anyways, Mike, you're married and you have a great relationship with your wife. I think you would especially know this,
should
you know this.
I also communicate really well.
Of this.
But I mean, like, a lot of people suck at communicating.
Communicate.
A lot of people suck at it. Like, I have good friends that I talk to who have a lot of people have bad relationships. I know a good friend of mine who, like, the guys, they were only dating a few months, but the guy's like, I gotta figure this out. I'll let you know by Sunday. And then he never responded to her. She's like, okay, fine, we're done.
God, oh no.
And
there you go.
I was just like, what do you need to figure out, buddy? Like,
although I might be the weirdest. I might also once again be like the weirdest person here. Not only like because like I love the shit out of like all Scott Pilgrim, but like I'm actually still good friends with all of my exes.
That's good. Like, that's not normal, but that's good.
There's not an ex in my life that like I hate or like we're enemies or anything. Like
that should be the normal. That's how I should put that statement.
No, it's just like I'm a weird person when I date. Like I want
not weird. You're a good person then for not making the person. I have
an enemy.
I have 3 exes. 2 one will never speak to me again. 1 I will never talk to again. Okay, and another one that I'm good. My son's mother I'm good friends with, and we talk often.
Good. That's okay. Good. That's good. Because like I don't know. Like it's weird how much I love Scott Pilgrim because I actually technically don't relate to it that much. Like I mean, I relate in a sense of like I'm like Scott and I'm like Ramona and like a lot of the characters. Like when I was a younger adult, I was a total fuck up and a piece of shit and an idiot, and I would say shitty things and I would be angry and cynical. But it's just like like when it comes to relationship stuff, it's like no, I'm kind of still friends with all my exes, and we're all. In fact, I'm actually kind of. I don't know how this even fucking makes logical sense, but I'm actually closer to them now as friends than we were ever as like romantic.
It does make sense. I mean, some things just don't work out.
No, yeah, exactly. Just I don't know.
I was gonna say y'all are all weird.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. I think you nailed it perfectly. You got it like right on target. Boom.
You're awesome, Joe.
I love y'all.
Joe's married pretty much.
Yeah, I love y'all so much. Oh my God.
I was gonna say, doubling back to that, I am also married, and by married I mean I've been in a relationship for 10 years, so that might as well work. And we communicate too well, in fact, that we are also polyamorous, so that also works.
Oh shit! Okay.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. If it works,
polyamorous, nice.
If
that's
it
totally
works, it works.
I'm also super queer, and I know a fuck ton of like poly people, so I totally get that.
Right.
And
I mean, there's not, as long as people understand it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's complete. I mean, it's only wrong when you're only one person doing it and they're not telling people.
That's actually how you also have a good polyamorous relationship, is you communicate. Once again, people, communication.
And honestly, if you take jealousy out of relationships for people, it's a lot better. I dated people
how do you get rid of jealousy? Yeah, how do you get rid of jealousy? Communicate. Once again. Okay.
That I met in my life. But
which doubles me back to probably my favorite relationship in the show, which is still between Julie and Gordon
yes,
Goose,
okay.
which I very much had that conversation of, bye honey, I love you, I miss you, and he goes, I'll miss you fucking more. It's like, oh, okay.
I'll miss you fucking more. I'm sorry, that's also why I loved Aubrey Plaza's performance as the character. Like, I already loved the character of Julie from the comic, but just like, man, she nailed that line delivery of just like, I'll miss you, honey. I'll miss you fucking more. Like,
it was funny they beeped out all the swearing. Oh, to add on to my thing of complaints, I also didn't like Envy at all in this. I didn't like Brie Larson. Okay. Like what you guys said earlier, it felt like Brie Larson just did not give a shit for this. And I'm
sure she was busy with a shit ton of like Marvel stuff. That's why she couldn't do a lot of stuff in this, probably. Like, I'm sure she was like super fucking busy.
I like her a lot. She's a great actress.
Oh yeah,
she
rules.
I don't want to give her any shade.
I said it earlier. Yeah, I love Brie. I love literally all the actors in this. I love Ellen Wong as Knives. I love Michael Cera. I'm a huge fan of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I love her in so many things. Like, I love, Kieran Culkin. I love Brandon Ruth. I love Lucas Lee. I love Chris Evans. Yeah, I love all these actors. They're all just so well, like, perfectly casted. Like, they're great.
I mean, Oh, another thing I was amusing, young Neil isn't playing a Game Boy Advance in this. Yeah. Like he's playing, a DS or something? Or a Switch?
I think it's actually, I'm pretty sure, I guess because they don't want to, like, piss, I think it's because they don't want to, like, piss off any copyright stuff. I think he's just playing, like, a generic game thing, because, like, I bet they don't want to, like, piss off Nintendo's lawyers or whatever.
It doesn't take much, unfortunately.
As long as it's not an N-Gage, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, what games do you have on the fucking N-Gage? You have, like, what, Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I was going to say Tomb Raider might be it.
Tomb Raider, I don't know. Like, yeah.
I mean, to kind of like, and then, in the epilogue of this is where you see them all kind of like have happy, Ramona becomes a stunt artist. Like they have their life works out nice, joins the band. Like, there are good, and I like that. I mean, I also want to say, like, if the marketing had addressed this, that it was a different take and not tried to make you think it was a repeat of the story from the comic. Had I not seen the movie, had I not loved the movie, or even if I just seen the movie, I didn't love the movie, I would have enjoyed this a whole lot more because I could appreciate it for what it was better than I did.
Yeah. Well, you say all that, but I think the title of the series is kind of the perfect encryption of the story.
Yes,
Scott Pilgrim takes
I didn't
off.
know that going in, and like we were saying, like even while we were talking, someone on Facebook posted, and I watched the entire Orb Blood Super Replay group, and even said, he's like, I just finished Scott Pilgrim. It's not what I expected, and I was like, yep, same boat.
The only person who was saying it was going to be something different was Brian.
Yeah,
and that is a problem, and that's not his fault. That's Netflix being Netflix.
No, it's not. It's not.
Corporate being corporate.
Usual.
I mean, it's just what you do. But no, I mean, it has its moments. I mean, it was I enjoyed parts of it. Like, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I have no issue that it exists. Like, it doesn't hurt me that it exists. It's just I am too attached to that movie.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
So I fucking, like I said earlier, and I'll say again, I love that movie so much. So
okay,
are any things go ahead?
I got a question before we do the thing. When Ramona in the Ramona Rents a Video episode, when she's about to fight Roxy, and she mentions, like, are we really doing this again?
Yeah.
Is that a reference to the movie? Like, again, I said,
yeah.
Are we going back to what I said earlier of this being a spiral and not a loop?
I think it was more along the lines of she's used to fighting her exes so much and breaking up with them.
No, I think they fought not literally. There's fists, punching and kicking, but arguing, they yell at each other and they're like, "Oh well, it's your fault because blah blah blah," that sort of thing.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's more of her referencing something that happened before that didn't actually happen.
I'm gonna go with
Emanuel.
I might do that once or twice.
Yeah, okay.
I do want to say the whole thing with Roxy, when you find out how she dated her and she just left her in college, I thought that was all really good to add more context to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Other than in the movie, you just have the one scene she's like, I was experimenting. I was an experimenter, or whatever the hell she, a phase or whatever the word is.
Curious.
I'm
bi-curious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do love that though.
That might be my favorite line from the movie, specifically the movie, is that I was a little bi-curious. Well, I'm a little bi-furious, and just the way she screams when she says bi-furious.
I'm gonna have to watch that damn movie today. I feel like
same here. Oh
on
my
Netflix.
God.
Yeah, it is.
Nope, there you go.
I also own it on Blu-ray too.
Yeah,
So.
I do. I own it too. I gotta watch it again.
It's one of those.
Hey, I'm sorry. I know I was already late to the podcast, but I feel so terrible for taking Emanuel's little introduction joke. I want to. Can I just quickly redo my little intro?
I can guarantee you the editor won't put it in the front.
Don't worry, Joe stole mine. So
I can guarantee.
Okay.
It's a spiral.
If I could just
Kyle,
do it really
it's a
quick.
spiral, not a loop. Don't worry.
Okay. But okay, but if I could just do it really quickly. Okay.
Sure, please.
Okay. Sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Kyle. I'm also known as Chibi UFO. And Scott Pilgrim, if your life had a face, I'd punch it. There you go. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you.
I mean, in this, it doesn't. In the comic, I think that in the comic it does go through more about Scott and Kim. I've read some of the comic, and you get a brief moment of that where she makes the reference I got kidnapped and he rescued me, and I started laughing because that's in the comic, and I wanted to see that, and I'm just I get it. I can read the comic, but I was bummed. But
it is interesting how Scott is one of the most elite fighters in all of Canada. At least here in the show, I can kind of see it with how they put Scott, but in the movie, seeing Michael Cera, I'm
yeah, Michael Cera.
Even though he's great, I love it in the movie. Him doing all that crap.
Yeah, no,
it's great. But yeah,
we have not given enough love to Anamanaguchi.
Mm. Yeah, of course, Anamanaguchi, the great, just kick-ass band. So many catchy songs. Just God.
That was the intro music, right?
Yeah, they do music throughout the entire show.
Yeah, they did the series music. They also did the music for the video game as well.
Yep. I should really play that after buying it 4 times.
You what?
You should do it, but don't play it as Wallace. It's a fucking scam.
Oh.
Yeah, it is, which sucks. But Mike, I hope you do play the game because I love the video game I love the video game. I love playing as all the characters. I especially my favorite character to play as in the game was Kim. I love her moveset. I love her specials, her spinning with her drumsticks. I love that when you do when you get into that fury mode where you start glowing gold. If you start do the button mashing where you punch people, what her button mash is she starts pummeling people with her drumsticks. I love that. That's so good.
And when you beat a level with her and she's practically screaming the "We Are Sex Bomb" with her
yeah, exactly.
Hair,
I should play it someday.
Also, when she
really need to.
Yeah. Also, when she regains health, it's what she summons as knives and they kiss. I'm like, that's so cute.
Further implying.
Yep.
Love it.
Same here. Love it a lot.
Okay. Oh, and so a couple of days ago, or a week ago, I was playing Halo Fireteam Raven with my son, and we ran out of credits, and it was just me. And after he died, I remember I went solo round just like that. I'm like, like I said, I love this movie. It lives in lives in my head rent free, so it makes it hard to appreciate something that takes the concept. Even though this thing did things good. I mean, it did have moments. I couldn't watch this without doing something else. I tried at first for the first 4 episodes, and it was hard for me. And again, that's a me problem because most things I watch while I edit or do other things. It's just how I function now. For one, because otherwise I would never get anything done if I didn't do that.
I get it, Mike. If it weren't because I watched the whole thing in one sitting with John, Like if it were just me alone, I probably wouldn't have even put that much attention into it. Like, but because I sat my ass down and watched the entire thing with John in one sitting, like I had to pay close attention to it because my mind has almost become Mike Albertin's mind of like, I have to be doing something. I need to either have a controller in my hand to actually do this or whatever. But the other thing aside from that was because I like, mystery, like, the who done it or the who did it, like Neil said. So that aspect also like kept me of like, okay, I need to know what the hell is actually going on here. But yeah, I could have as easily as you have been very apprehensive to the show because of how it deviated. But I chose to not. I chose to just okay, especially considering that I had heard that it was not a 1-to-1 because of a review that I had seen prior.
I think that helped you. I wish I would have saw something like that before, because since I didn't, I went into this expecting something that it wasn't, and that it was a letdown. And had I gone into it with no expectations, like example, another movie I recorded on this podcast, Violent Night, I went into it with zero expectations, didn't watch the trailer, didn't know what to expect, and I fucking loved that film. So sometimes it's good to come into something with no expectations, and that was not the case.
It's something that I have learned over the years of just like, do not have expectations for anything and just go into it blind. It's much better to just, go in like that instead of like having these high expectations and just be wholly disappointed for it. Like,
I'm also hoping that we get Funko Pops of Scott Pilgrim from this show, because I will buy them all.
I'm pretty sure there already was Scott Pilgrim Funko Pops.
Like, but there's an issue called I Missed It, and now they're like hundreds of dollars on eBay.
Oh,
and I'm not paying.
Shit.
I do have two, though.
That's why I've kind of stopped with a lot of physical media, except for like movies. Like literally, aside from like movies, like, and maybe the occasional comic book or manga or whatever, is like I've kind of stopped with a lot of physical media because a lot of companies will do that fucking bullshit where it's like, oh, we stopped making them, or we want to.
Are just like that. They only come out they make X amount. They're out for a bit. Some never move anywhere.
Yeah.
Some
sell like hotcakes.
Become expensive. Like I have a few actually pretty expensive Funko Pops that I just picked up at a store randomly, but then they became expensive. I have I just gotten ones throughout just collecting because I love Funko Pops.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But no, I have two. I have Scott and I have Ramona. My wife got me, unfortunately, out of box, because that was cheaper, and I was not.
She got you one. That's
they were on my table, but a little tail knocked it down. I haven't bothered to call it yet.
Oh God.
Well, my kitten was yesterday while I was petting her while I was working. She laid on my desk and was like, "It's pet time," and that tail just starts moving and things just get knocked off.
It's tail time.
Thanks, it doesn't work time anymore. I'm like, I'm trying to work.
Your kitty was just like Ramona's kitty, Gideon.
I forgot the cat's name was Gideon. That's cool.
Oh, right, the cat.
I like the cat. I love cats. I was at a friend's house, and she had a cat, and she never had a cat before, and I just wanted to pet the cat.
Kitty cat.
Also, last night, my cat got out for like 20 minutes, and I was not very happy with cats for a little while. No. Got her back. Food works. Yes. We had to bribe her. We're like, you're hungry? We know you're hungry. Come here. Yeah, damn cat.
All kitties are beautiful.
Yes.
Mine's a brat wherever she is right now. I was not happy at midnight.
She's
probably plotting your death.
She's a beautiful brat.
Potentially a beautiful murderer.
Yes, there you go.
Actually,
the murder of Mike Albertin.
I had mice, and instead of killing the mouse, she just decided, we're going to play with you. Like, I had it cornered. I'm like, kill it. And I couldn't catch it myself. So I'm like, it's got to go. And she decided, she took her paw with no claws and pulled it out of the hole to get it to run so she could go chase it.
Holy shit. Okay.
Then she chased it and lost it underneath the couch. And then finally, I'm done. I'm going to go take a nap now. And I'm like, didn't finish your job.
Thanks for nothing, cat.
But luckily, I have humane traps. So I caught the mouse in a humane trap, and then it went for a trip to a nearby lake, and it got dropped off. So.
Good. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
I try every so often. I forget to check the traps, and I haven't had. Thank God.
Yeah. No,
I feel terrible when I forget to check, and I'm like, you're not alive anymore. But I try. I try to release them in the wild. I mean, hey, if they die or live in the wild, I don't care, because I'm like, hey, if you die,
it's the wild, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's what you're meant to do. But get out of my house. So, all right. Oh, another thing. The stuff with Wallace that I started to bring up earlier, but I went with God, what the hell is the character's name? Brandon Ralph.
Todd.
Oh, Todd. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. They're like, "Oh, we're making out." I was like, they're obviously not making out, buddy. Like that thing. Your trailer's not gonna move when you're making out. Like I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, they're fucking. They are full blown fucking.
And this is the first place where I made out with Wallace. And this is the second place where I made out with Wallace.
The toilet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like.
I also love when Todd becomes ex-vegan after the Wallace thing. Like he's just pigging out on a giant thing of poutine. Like it's like spilled all over his shirt and everything. He's just like, like, oh my god!
I didn't know that was poutine. I thought it was cheese fries.
More butter.
Well,
I know.
It's poutine.
Okay,
because poutine is Canadian, and well, that's what poutine is. It's cheese fries. Like it's just poutine is gravy and a specific type of cheese, though. It's Quebec cheese curds. They're squeaky cheese.
We have a Canadian who's able to get this information.
Is poutine good?
I didn't know any of this.
Poutine's amazing. Poutine's fantastic. Yeah, it's gravy, French fries, and Quebec cheese curds, or as it's called locally, squeaky cheese. Because when
somebody's not the biggest fan of gravy.
Fuck you.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Phoebe. I love you. I'm sorry, Phoebe. I'm sorry, Phoebe. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I love you. I'm sorry. But yeah, the reason why it's called squeaky cheese is because when you bite on the cheese curd, it almost squeaks because like
Phoebe, you offended our Canadian.
I love you, Phoebe. I'm sorry. You're
not the first Canadian I've offended, okay?
A show or
no. Surprisingly enough, all my friends who are Canadian are in that the queer LGBT kink community. That's great.
Nice.
I fucking love it.
Cool.
There's backstory here, almost like Scott Pilgrim.
What up?
Oh man. I think does Ramona have green hair for a chunk of this longer than the other hair?
For an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. She does for a couple episodes.
I'm kind of just sifting through the episode right now.
We have blue with purple tips. She did blonde with green tips. I think she did green with red tips or vice versa.
She also did red with yellow tips, like blonde tips. I thought that was really cool.
God, that one was very like that character from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah. Honestly, the red with yellow tips reminded me of like gummy worms. Like that just reminds me of like gummy worms.
Okay. Knives was good in this too.
Yes.
I like how Knives
at the end.
I like how she enjoys the band.
Ellen Wong is so underrated as an actor, and I love that she's a Canadian actor too. Like I love Ellen Wong so much. She's great. Yeah.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. No, she's not in that. She's not in that.
I could have swore Knives is in Pacific Rim.
No, I'm pretty sure Ellen Wong wasn't in Pacific Rim. Might be thinking of someone else. Yeah. Good idea.
Look it up.
Yeah, there you go.
But she was good in this. I thought she did a fine job voice acting too.
Yeah, same.
So he is right. I could have swore she was in this. Wow. Okay.
Double check.
I did, and I was wrong.
Okay, good.
Yeah, not in Pacific Rim.
I don't know why. I only seen the movie once, so it was a long time ago. So I created my own version.
That's fine.
She hasn't made a lot of movies either.
No, she's been in a couple things. She was actually in a horror movie that I watched a few months ago that I actually really enjoyed. It's somewhat of a Canadian horror movie. It's like
The Void.
The Void. Thank you. She's in The Void. She plays one of the nurses.
Still need to see that movie.
Yep, it's a good horror movie. If you like horror movies, I think you'd like it.
It's very good cosmic horror, which is.
Oh yeah, it is. It's
somewhere Ken is smiling and he doesn't know why.
Yeah, there's some really good like cosmic horror stuff, like a lot of references and just like the monsters in it. Like it's really impressive.
All right. Oh, I didn't like. Here's another. The actor that did Steven Stills. I didn't like his voice acting in this.
I think it's another situation of where it's not. I don't know. It's kind of like the same thing as with MV.
Sure, Mark Webber was in the movie, so I think they did get him back. So
I just didn't like. I don't know. I mean, I think some people are just like voice acting is something completely different, and some people just I don't think it's a different thing.
Yeah. I think so. I think that is the case. Actually, you know what? I will give one piece of criticism for Takes Off. I don't like, and sorry if people don't know this, spoiler warning, because this is revealed in the last volume of the comic book. I don't like that Takes Off doesn't acknowledge Steven Stills' queerness, because in the final volume of the comic book, Steven comes out as gay. And it's actually a really good joke, too, because Scott's really shocked, like, oh my God, you're gay. He's like, yeah, I haven't been hiding it. And he's like, how come I didn't know? But it's like, Scott, you're an idiot. That's why, because you don't fucking acknowledge your friends. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Scott, it's almost like you're not good at paying attention to your friends or something. Jeez.
Thank
and
you.
Also, Steven gets to make out with his boyfriend in the comic, and I'm like, that's so cute. Yes, gay kissing. Yay, gay kissing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Like as a society, we now have that in more things, because for a long time that very taboo. So I'm glad that we're getting over it.
And it's just more queerness. And I'm a little honestly that's my only bit of constructive criticism for Takes Off, is that I wish they would have acknowledged Steven's queerness, and I hope he'd have a bit of time with his boyfriend, because I thought that was actually a really great bit of character development and character for Steven. Is that the reason why we don't see a lot of him is because this is through Scott's point of view, and in his point of view he doesn't even realize that one of his closest friends is fucking gay. Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much.
I need to read the comic. This might finally get me.
I hope you do. I really hope you do. Honestly,
I don't know why I haven't, to be honest.
So honestly, if I could make a thing for this entire podcast and just what I would recommend for people, honestly, Scott Pilgrim as a whole as a series is pretty short. The movie's pretty short. The comics are pretty short. It's only 6 volumes and they're pretty quick reads. You can pretty much take in everything in Scott Pilgrim. You don't have to just do the movie or just do the comic or just watch the anime. Take it all in. They're all pretty short watches. Honestly, I think the longest thing is the anime. Even the video game isn't even that long. You might get a game over a couple times, but you'll get better. It's a beat 'em up.
At some point, I need to do the game. I need to do the comic.
It just takes time. It takes practice. There you go.
Also, I'm speaking of which we've been talking about the show as a whole in general. I'm also surprised in how short the show was. I was actually expecting at least, because there's 6 books, I was expecting 7 episodes, at least an hour long each. So I'm surprised that we even got 8 episodes at 30 minutes.
But that's because it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
a
straight up adaptation of the.
No, of course.
Books,
yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I wanted, and that's me. Probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Joe? You were gonna say?
No, that's pretty all I can think of.
All right. Any last things you guys want to say about the show before we go on to Shelf Stack Box?
I have a quick question. If anybody
please.
If anybody else has read anything else by Brian Lee O'Malley.
I have not yet, but I've been meaning to. I really want to check out Seconds, and I want to check out his first book, Lost at Sea. Yeah, thank you, Lost at Sea.
The thing is, during the title card animation, they have Ramona's cat in the subspace ocean with the moon in the background, and I feel like that's supposed to be a Lost at Sea reference.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think you're right, because I think the point is the cat that she has at Lost at Sea is supposed to be the same kind of cat as the Gideon cat.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any Sequence references, but that should be a Lost at Sea.
Oh, he hasn't done much. He just did Seconds, and then he did Lost at Sea.
He's making a new one right now, and he wrote a little bit for some comic called Snot Girl. Otherwise, he actually is a musician. One of their songs appears in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that is one thing also. I do like that they actually make the band a band. They actually sound better than they did in the movie.
They do.
Uh-huh.
I liked it in the movie where they played those trashy songs, like the "I want to take you in my truck." But I also like that they are an actual kind of band.
Yeah, exactly.
Here.
Well, if you ever read the comics within the first volume, when they're doing the little band practice, there actually is a bit of chart for music sheeting, and there is lyrics, and it's like, hey, you too can play a Sex Bomb song. Okay. These are the chords you need to know and everything. Here's the fucking the sheet music for it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
Also, speaking of songs, the song Scott sings with the twins is a cover from an 80s
from Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called a Hurricane.
Yeah.
Of course.
You were referencing the anime, right? When you say Bubblegum Crisis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure.
That's an anime. That's literally an anime.
Okay, that's the earthquake one with the
Hurricane is
the hot girls in mech suits, right?
There's a couple of different episodes of Bubblegum Crisis, so there's a couple of different stories.
Oh, I remember an anime, and my friend had me borrow it, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, Bubblegum Crisis. Yep.
That was a long time ago.
No idea.
Nope.
That's okay. Most of my anime, if it's not from the 90s, if it wasn't introduced to me in the early 2000s or the 90s, I have no idea what it is. So
I'm a big anime nerd, so I know a lot of shit, so I could be here like all day. So
I know I watched it at one point, which is scary because I somehow remember shows like vampires existing.
Yeah, yeah. Bubblegum Crisis is a good anime. It's a good series.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's go to shelf stacker box, and we'll start with we'll get the negative out of the way. So I'll go first. I'm going to put it in the box. It's good, but I wasn't into it, and I was bored, and I appreciate it more after our conversation, and I'm glad it exists, but I'm not going back to it. I'm done. Like, it just wasn't for me, and that's a me problem, not their fault. So, but it's going in the box, and I'm glad we watched it.
What's in the box, Mike?
Not much, actually, lately. I haven't put a whole lot in the box lately, so. But yes, I get the reference. But, Emanuel, what about you?
I mean, I'm going to put it on the shelf. I liked it enough. Again, I still like the movie better. Like maybe because of nostalgia, but I just it did do a lot for me. The show of like expanding the characters. At least some of the characters, not all of them. Like we established, there are some that are kind of like less established, but I did appreciate that we did focus on the closure of Ramona and her exes. Like it was nice. I liked it a lot and all that. So yeah, I'm putting it in the shelf.
Okay. And Joseph.
You call me Medion, darn you. I'm also putting this on the shelf. I very much hold a very soft spot for Scott Pilgrim in my heart, and I hope to one day own all of this. Hopefully physical media becomes a thing so I can own this, the movie, and all the books all at once.
Yeah.
And that really cool game set that you can get where you pop it open and they're like it plays the opening song and it has them in little cardboard cutouts as a band thing or whatever. I don't know. But
yeah,
I really like this.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the show. I love all different parts of it. One of my other biggest complaints is that we are not getting a second season because I would low key love a second season slice of life, wrapping everything else up. But
so what the hell was the after credits scene then?
Just to show that there's always going to be a problem, because that's
exactly.
Well, so here's the other thing is that that exists, but Brian Lee O'Malley specifically said he had not planned for a second season only because he does not believe in Netflix, and he believed that if he would be promised a second season, Netflix probably wouldn't give it to him anyweys. So as of right now, he's not worried about it.
I get it.
I also think this didn't need a second season. I think this is one is enough.
Yeah.
We're done. All right, Phoebe.
Originally, this was going to go on the stack, but the more and more we talk about it, I really have to put this on the shelf with all the other Scott Pilgrim stuff I own.
All right. And Kyle.
I'm going to have to say for literally all of Scott Pilgrim, the comic, the movie, the video game, the anime, all of it is going to be proudly on my shelf. I love all of it. I mean, obviously, it's like Scott Pilgrim, it means a lot to me as a series, but each different iteration of Scott Pilgrim really speaks to me on a specific level. The comic does, the movie, the video game, the anime, they all do. And I love them all equally. I think, especially the anime, since it's so recent, I think it's awesome. I think it does a great job with telling a whole other different type of story, but at the same time, something that's still very Scott Pilgrim. I love that all the characters finally get some character development. I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought that was just a blast. Like, more Ramona doing stuff, just more of young Neil, more of Wallace and Todd and the exes, and just, like all the other characters, they finally get some character acknowledgement and development. I would display all of my Scott Pilgrim stuff proudly. The plushies, the movie on like Blu-ray, the video game, a physical copy of the video game, the comic books, and if Takes Off ever gets on physical media, I'd love to have it on like Blu-ray. I'd proudly display the Blu-ray of Takes Off too, if it ever exists.
I mean, isn't Netflix doing Blu-rays of stuff?
They did it for Stranger Things, but I think that's
they did. No, they did it for like the first.
For an Ramona one as well.
They did for the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. They still haven't done a season 3 yet. If they ever do, though, I will buy it. I love Scott Pilgrim Takes Off a whole lot. I would gladly get a Blu-ray of this.
I mean, I think we're going to have to go back to physical media for a lot of these only streaming shows because they're not going to exist unless you want to pirate them. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What show was it that doesn't exist anymore? That came, the Willow show that Disney just plus this.
Willow. there's a couple of shows. There's actually a couple of movies and shows that quote unquote don't exist anymore because of their stupid streaming thing, and they got taken off the streaming. That Grease TV show on Paramount Plus, I think it's Return of the Pink Ladies or Revenge of the Pink Ladies. Like that got taken off, so now it's like quote unquote gone unless you pirate it.
We're gonna sail the seven seas.
Yeah, there's a couple of Paramount let go of a good couple of things. That Star Trek kids cartoon, not Discovery.
Lower Deck.
Yeah, Prodigy. I'm pretty sure it's Lower Decks.
Prodigy. Lower Decks isn't for kids.
Lower Decks
it's just animated.
Lower Decks.
I don't watch any of that.
No. Hey, hold on. Lower Decks is the adult cartoon. Prodigy is the kids cartoon.
Kids can also watch.
No, they can't. It's adult. It's adult. Don't do that. Don't fucking be a shitty parent and let your tiny kid watch an adult thing.
That's why I'm never gonna be a parent.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever. But yeah. There's already and like Netflix has done this for a couple of movies and TV shows, and HBO Max or whatever the fuck it's called now. Yeah. All of the streaming services are guilty of this shit, that they've taken off titles that still are not on physical media, and it fucking sucks.
Oh god, they did it for Infinity Train.
I was gonna mention Infinity Train.
Oh,
I was a big fan of the Netflix Babysitters Club. That ran for 2 seasons before they fucking canceled it like the bastards they are. That still hasn't gotten a physical media release, and I really want it to, because that was great feminist queer media, and it's like, cool, great, cancel a thing that's feminist and queer friendly when a time when we need it the most, bastards.
All right. And Kyle, where can people find you at?
Sorry, sorry for the tirade. All right, hey everybody, you can follow me at bluesky.social.com at bluesky.com, at chibiufo.bluesky.social.com, and you can find me. I don't really use it like really much anymore. Like I'll occasionally post 1 or 2 things, but I'm mainly just trying to get more people on Blue Sky. You can find me on Twitter at UFO_Canada. No, it's Twitter. UFO_Canada at UFO_Canada on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, where I just post random bullshit about my random pictures and stuff of my daily life of stuff. And you can find me at Letterboxd at Kyle F at letterboxd.com, where I post little reviews for movies and stuff. And yeah, you can find me on pretty much all those various social medias. I'm sorry, I don't think I said my Instagram name. My Instagram name is at ShibiUFO and on Instagram. And yeah, you can find me on all of those social media, where I just post about dumb musings about my life.
Okay. And Phoebe.
Hi, you can find me on Blue Sky. I don't remember what the hell the name is, because I only made the profile a bit ago and haven't really used it. You can find me on Twitter as the LP Princess.
Thank you.
And you can find me on both Twitch and YouTube as the Let's Play Princess. I do a bunch of, clearly, you could probably guess what.
All right. And Emanuel.
Hey, twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart, youtube.com/Commander Lionheart. If it still exists on the Toronto, Canada apocalypse of 2020 something. I don't know where I'm going with that bit.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 550 other episodes of this podcast. You can hear everything we do on Podbean. Just type in, so you can have a search bar, search Star Wars, search Scott Pilgrim. You'll find our movie episode, which will also be in the link in the show notes. Search Batman, just search whatever. You never know. We do a lot of strange stuff sometimes on this podcast. So definitely go check out our giant catalog. If you want to support the show, we do a Patreon. For those that vote in our Patreon polls, we have one every month. Definitely go do that and support the show. Please join our Discord. You'll see a link in the show notes to our Discord. Join that chat with us. We need more people. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Hasser. You can follow her on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. You'll see a link tree in the show notes to all her stuff. So definitely go check her out. Want to give a shout out to Bill Tucker, who did the MC movies with me. Started his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 40. Definitely go check him out. Great show. He's on, still should be on hiatus by the time this comes out, but he has a lot of episodes. Definitely go support him. And I want to give a shout out to Nomads of Fantasy, another podcast that I work with. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, which is cat videos, and YouTube, audio only. But we are at all those things. So I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.